Okay. Let's give it a few for people to join us.
Okay.
Okay. Well, welcome. My name is Brian Palmer. I'm Executive Director for Ethereal Chest, and welcome to anyone who's watching as we discuss our upcoming production of Love Song by Abby Morgan. With us today is Ella, who is the director for the production. And the point of this live stream of this video is to give anyone who's interested in potentially auditioning for or participating in this production a way to get to know Ella and the way that she approaches a production, as well as to get information about the audition process, and how casting will work. So to start us off, Ella, if you can go ahead and introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your background and experience.
Hi. Yes, so I'm Ella Palardi, and I have been doing a lot of acting around town for many years. I went to school, let's go back to high school, Fort Hayes School for Performing Arts, and then the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City after that. And I have done a lot of acting, writing. I have been a mentor and director for the Young Writers Program several years with Mad Lab, directed with OGP Productions, and very excited I read the script and was immediately in love with it, and very excited to tackle this production.
And so on that note, in your own words, can you tell us what the play Love Song is about?
Well, yes, I'm gonna no spoiler this, but it's about a couple. The cast is 4 people, but it's one couple, a husband and wife. We see them in their 70s, and we see them in their like 20s, 30s. So the cast is, again, 4 people, 2 playing the older couple, and then 2 playing that same couple at the start of their marriage. It is a story that I think anybody, whether you've been married or not, if you've been in any kind of serious relationship, you can relate to it on some level. It's a story about all the ups and downs of love. It's a story about taking that chance, even though love is so wonderful, it also has those moments that are so awful. And that's what, when you're looking back at the end on your entire love story or love song, if you want to call it, it's that roller coaster ride, and what keeps a couple together through all those awful moments too. I mean, they say in the show, one of the lines, "This is the story of our beginning, and this is the story of the end." And that's really what it is. It's a kind of slice of life. We see all these moments where the love is so evident, and we see the moments where the love is tested to the extreme. And you wonder, like, how are they going to pull through this moment? And well, since I guess there is a spoiler, since we see them in their 70s, they end up pulling through. But there's tough at the end of your story too. There's that. It's like, do I take the chance and love when someday it's going to end, no matter what that means? Is the person going to leave me? Are we going to get divorced? I'm going to die, or they're going to die eventually. It's not forever. So it's just a really beautiful story about love, which is something most of us crave and can relate to.
Definitely. And the script is written by playwright Abby Morgan, who is also a screenwriter, and she wrote the screenplay for the movie Iron Lady, starring Meryl Streep, which more people will probably be familiar with her screen work than her stage work. But I agree with you. This is one of the most beautiful scripts I've ever read. The best way I can describe the way she writes their story is it feels like you're watching a ballet when you read the script, because it's so beautifully intertwined and very lyrical in the way that she weaves their stories together, and at just the most perfect moments too, where you feel like you're getting 2 sides of the same coin. It's just one of my favorite scripts that I've ever read, and I'm kind of jealous that jealous of you and for you getting to work on this show, because it will be such a beautiful challenge as a director, as well as for the actors being able to trust each other and you to go where this script takes them, and some of the depths and the role vulnerability. It's just both the actors and audiences are going to just absolutely love this story.
Yeah, and
With
I will say, as an actor, when I was reading it, I was like, I want to be in this show, but I'm not the right age for either. So I'm going to direct it. But yeah, their roles, like, and the male role too. It's all of them. They're fantastic roles for everybody that you can really sink your teeth into.
Definitely. So, what would you say is the message of the story? Why did Abby? Why do you feel Abby felt the need to create this story, create this world?
Well, I read something from the original production of this when they were working on it. She was inspired by, like, because both couples are on stage together most of the show. They interact with each other. It's, I don't know, I don't want to call it a dream ballet, but it kind of is, because at the start, the older version of the man, Billy, says, in my sleep I am young again, and then we see the younger version of the couple come in. So it's almost like his dreams and his memories are guiding us through this story. And the playwright said, I wanted to show the same couple at different points in life kind of inhabiting the same space, and almost like aching to influence, like the older couple aching to, like, this is something that we can all relate to again, regret, or what I would have done differently if I could go back. And, like, you want to, like, tell your younger self, hey, do this instead, or and you can't, because none of us can do that, right? So to me, it's on one hand a simple love story about love, and on the other hand a very complex story about wishing that you could, influence your life, but none of us have that power.
Yeah, I again completely agree with what you say. So when you're taking a show like this one that isn't necessarily the most like realistic of shows, and by that I mean the fact that you have these two timelines interacting with each other. What is your concept for the show? How do you plan to bring it to the stage? What choices, or what is your stamp that you're planning to bring to this production that makes it different than what another director might do?
Well, like you said, it is. I mean, I remember when we first talked about it, I had the same impression of, like, it just ballet. That word is that's what it is. And that doesn't mean, I mean, there's not like choreographed dance numbers. Like, you don't have to be a dancer to audition for this show. But the blocking is almost choreography, in that it's just these four actors are going to be weaving in and out of the space and in and out of each other, and touching, like, the older Maggie may be holding a cup of coffee, set it down, and the younger Maggie picks it up. They're just inhabiting, it really is just this dream state. And it's going to flow. I don't anticipate using any, like, blackouts. I want it to just flow in each other and not have any hard stops to it. There's no intermission. I anticipate like a tight 90, one act. And yeah, the best way I can describe it is just, it is going to flow like a dance number, even though it's not literally a dance number.
And I will say that when we were doing auditions last year, not auditions, but interviews for directors last year, my conversation with you was, at the end of it, I knew there was no one else I wanted to direct this show than you, because you were the only one who, similar to me, referred to it in the same terms of it being very ballet-like, very dance-like, very lyrical. And it was like, okay, Ella gets it. She gets this show, and I've just almost the past year since then, I have just been like chomping at the bit, waiting to get started with this, just to see what you can do with it, because I have full faith that it's going to be. I not to set expectations too high, but I'm definitely anticipating this to be one of my favorite shows. I've had other people say that after reading the script, it's one of their favorites as well. So it's definitely going to be a very exciting production, and I think that you are just the perfect person to be at the helm to direct the direct the show.
Thank you. Yeah, I love and interpersonal relationships. Like that is my thing. So this is like the perfect show that called to me to like be involved in this in some way. And it's going to be really strong on character work. It's not, this show depends on these 4 actors. It's not flashy special effects or things like that. It's the character work. It's the fact that you've got 2 characters played by 4 people. It's going to be important that those 2 actors, like the 2 female actors, kind of have time to study each other and get like the mannerisms of this character down, because they're playing the same character. Same with the 2 males. Like, so we'll spend some time doing that character work of like, these have to seem like they're the same person. I'm not going to be casting based on looks, like, oh, you have to look like you're the same person. I'm not gonna, I don't want to give regard. Everybody's welcome to audition. Everybody will be considered. So it's not going to be like, oh, I don't look like anyone else at this audition, so I can't get in. That's not a factor. It's about the inner work of making us believe that you're the same person.
Yeah, and on that, you can, through your performance and your characterization, can resemble each other even if you don't physically look like each other.
Right.
And I think what you're getting at is the fact that it's more important to be able to inhabit who these characters are than what your physical appearance is.
Right. Yep.
So, and that leads us into, we actually have a question from David Johnson: when auditions will be, and what you're looking for acting wise or actor wise. Auditions are January 10th and 11th. It's a Saturday and Sunday. All the information, there's a Facebook event for it, and also on our website you can get all the information and be able to sign up for auditions there. So if you could just talk to us for a few minutes about what the audition process will be like, what you're looking for from the actors, what kinds of things people who are preparing to audition can be doing to really set themselves up for success.
Yep, we'll be doing cold readings from the script. I want to see everybody working together. We'll have some scenes of just the younger couple, the older couple. Some scenes will have all 4 together. I'm just really looking for, obviously at auditions, I am not looking for as much of like, oh, I have to act like this other person did it. Do your own interpretation. When we get the show cast, we'll work on that character work together. But it's the emotion of this show. That's what's important here. So I want to see your interpretation of the character. Put your own spin on it. Take some chances with it. And I just want to see you connect to the material through the cold readings. And then, we'll do callbacks so that I can see maybe people who weren't at auditions at the same time. I can see them work off each other and work together. So get a better idea of who's going to fit.
And the way that we do auditions is when you sign up, there'll be a whole list of time slots. You rank in order of which ones work best for your schedule, and then based on availability, we will book you in one of those hour slots. So the longest you'll be here at auditions is for an hour, at, like I said, at most, because we want to respect everybody's time. We don't want you to have to come and sit for like 4 hours and get used for 10 minutes. Right. And also having the smaller groups allows Ella to be able to really see each person equally and ensure that nobody does get lost in the masses. I've been at a couple different auditions where there's just so many people that you just feel like, well, that didn't really help much because there's no way they actually will remember me But doing it in these hour slots make it a lot easier. Plus, you get a lot more direct focus and attention from the director during the audition.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned callbacks. When are you? Because we're doing the auditions on Saturday the 10th and Sunday the 11th. When are you planning to do callbacks? Will they be later on the 11th, or will they be on a different day?
I believe we have I believe Monday at 6:30, so Monday the 12th.
Okay, cool. And then, so with a callback, how will people be notified, and what does it mean if they don't get a callback?
So, be notified like about the callbacks, you mean? If
Yes.
they're called back.
Yeah.
So I believe auditions on Sunday are 4 to 8. So I will be emailing after 8 o'clock on Sunday, probably before 9 o'clock Sunday evening. It's possible if you audition on Saturday, I know I want to see you again. You might get a call back on Saturday, but if you don't hear on Saturday, you can still hear on Sunday. I do anticipate calling back everybody that I am interested in seeing, because like I said, if you're going to be cast, I do want to see you work with other people. If you have a conflict and you can't make the callbacks, please let me know that, and we can work something out. I don't want you to not be considered because you can't make the callback. So definitely let me know about that. And then I anticipate, I know you kind of have a schedule for when the cast is notified. I believe it would be by Thursday morning.
Yeah, so we usually will make sure everyone, no matter what the decision is, you will be notified at the latest 8 a.m. Thursday following auditions. We usually try to start notifying people before then, but the latest is 8 a.m. Thursday, and then we will post publicly the official cast 8 a.m. Friday.
Okay.
So once we get through the audition and the casting process, and we actually get into rehearsals, what will the rehearsal process be like for this show?
So I want to start out with a little bit of intimacy coordinator work, just because this is a cast where you're going to be close to each other. And I think I have done this with shows before where our first rehearsal is like intimacy exercises. And I find it so incredibly helpful, even if you aren't, kissing anyone on stage or touching anyone on stage. It's just a great practice, I think, for even when you're off stage. Like it helps me know that I'm safe to tell people my boundaries. So I just think it's a great thing for any production. But this production in particular, you are close. You are in each other's space. You are, touching, holding. There is some kissing. And it's very important to me that everybody feel comfortable with that and feel comfortable coming to me and saying, this is what I'm not comfortable with. So that we can, if I know in advance you're not comfortable with something, we can work around that. That's not a problem. So I like to start out with that. Everybody, it helps you get to know each other too, and just everybody kind of connect to each other. And then from there, we'll start with blocking. We'll have someone come in. There is one sequence that I want a movement coach to work on. So we will have a couple of movement rehearsals. And the show opens, let's see, our tech week is the end of March. I'm looking at an off book date in the beginning of March. But yeah, I'm looking to start rehearsals mid-February and do some evenings during the week. I have a pretty flexible schedule though. If I end up with a cast where I have some people that are retired, I have some people that maybe work odd schedules, we can meet during the day and rehearse. So there is a possibility if you're like, oh, I work nights all the time, like still audition, let me know your schedule, because we might be able to work with that.
Yeah, I'm always a big fan and encourage people that if you're interested in a show, audition and just be forthcoming with any conflicts you have. Because if a director likes you and wants to work with you, they will find a way to make it work. And it's better to be upfront and honest and open about any conflicts or situations you may have. So that way, both of you can enter into the situation well informed. Because if you don't give the information, then that's just going to set up problems later on.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely want to see and hear from you, even if you're like, I don't know if the rehearsals will fit into my schedule. Let me know your schedule, because they might, because my schedule is flexible.
Fantastic. So are there any other elements of the show, anything else you want to communicate to anyone who's watching about the production, the rehearsal process, auditions?
I will mention that it is mentioned several times in the script that this couple has come to this country. Their last name, Alton, is like a Great Britain, British origin. So I am probably looking for British accents because they are not American. So there's that. You don't have to be perfect at it at auditions, though. Still come on out. But yeah, that is one element of the show that it is mentioned a lot in the script. I did have somebody who was not able to be on tonight ask me a question in advance. He was curious about the time, the setting, because he mentioned, there's a lot about an iPod at the end, which is a little bit out of date, but it's a couple in their 70s, so I feel like they would have kind of out of date technology. Obviously to me, we're not changing any of the script. You do it as written. So
yeah,
it puts them in. Yeah, I think when the show was written, it was like 2010. So that's the timeline, which means like 50 years ago was like late 50s, early 60s. I think we can fudge that a little. I think 2010 to 2025 isn't like so vastly different of a timeline. And especially since it's an older couple, it's not like they're going to be wearing the latest fashions anyway. It's a couple that doesn't have a lot of money, so they're not going to have the most up-to-date furniture. Like the iPod, I think, fits whether we're doing it today or 10 years ago. And with the coming to America from Britain, that was big through the 50s, but a lot of people still did immigrate in the 60s, 70s. So I'm looking at like a 1960s-ish, 2015, kind of pretty present day, to answer the timeline question.
Good. Cool. And I think that's a great point to point out, is that the younger couple, being the fact that they are the same couple, that it would be more of like a period piece for the younger couple and more of a modern day for the older couple, which again will be really fun to play with. The difference in like the culture in those two, because it's half a century between the younger and older couples, and so a lot of the political and social and environmental topics will be a little different for both, which will be fun to play. Looks like Lynn has a question on the accents. Are you looking for more upper class English or Cockney or another?
Yeah, not quite either. Somewhere in between. Definitely not Cockney. It would lean more upper class, but these are working class people, so not the Queen's English, but not Cockney either. So kind of your, I hate to say it, but your more general British, generic British accent should work, but leaning more upper class than Cockney for sure.
Yeah. Fantastic. So we will be leaving this video up through the audition process. So if you're watching this at a later time and you have questions, you can continue to put your comments in the comment section and we will get back with you. You can message us directly on Facebook, or you can email us at info@etherealjust.com and we can pass your questions on to Ella or get your questions answered as quickly as we can. With that, thank you so much for joining us and taking a little bit out of your holiday weekend. And I, again, cannot wait for this show. I'm just very, very excited.
Me too. Thank you so much. Thanks for those who are tuning in or watching this at a later date. And I hope to see you all at auditions and reach out if you have any questions before then, for sure.
Sounds good. Thank you.